This Jorge Masvidal thing with Usman this weekend, Dana White just hit a scratch off here that it could be bigger than ever. It's Fight Island as well, right? The debut of Fight Island now has a headliner in Jorge Masvidal versus Usman for the welterweight championship. And also, I would assume that the BMF title is also on the line. Yep. Because if you're talking BMF, you lose a fight, I would assume the human you lost the fight to would now be the BMF at this point. I'm not sure if that means that the BMF will always live in the welterweight division, but I do know that a guy named Gilbert Burns, which sounds like an accountant. Yeah. No offense to Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns can beat the hell out of me, okay? I very much understand Gilbert Burns is a savage of an individual. He was willing to walk into a cage, 2 men enter, only 1 comes out healthy, maybe 0 come out healthy. I understand that. But for Dana White in the UFC, hearing that Gilbert Burns is out and a guy like Jorge Masvidal wants to get in, you got to be absolutely ecstatic. I can't wait for Fight Island now. Over there at Yas Island in Abu Dhabi, you got Jorge Masvidal currently en route right now on a private plane to get over there, taking on Usman. Both past COVID-19 tests. This is a go. UFC 251, maybe one of the biggest main events within the since they've returned. Honestly. Yeah. I mean, Sugar Sean had a big-time fight. That took up place. Thug Nasty took over some headlines. There's been some Gaethje and Jefferson, I believe. Ferguson and Gaethje had a hell of a fight. But now you got a guy who knocked somebody out within, 7 seconds or something like that, who has come from this folklore-like background where he's fighting in backyards with Kimbo Slice and beating the hell out of him. Now he's got a chance at the title, and it's coming off of a week notice. What a story for Jorge Masvidal if he could pull this off. And Usman, who's been training for Gilbert, okay? Anytime you're training for a Gilbert and Jorge comes in, completely changes the game. If you look at the fights that Connor's lost, normally it's been on last minute. Now, granted, rest in peace to Khabib's father and everything like that. But whenever you try to make that last minute transition, normally, right, because I think we've learned a little bit more about the fight game, we're a little bit of a bigger fight show now, there's a lot of strategery that goes into this. There's a lot of game planning. Now what do you have? You have 5 days to figure out what the opponent's going to do. And for Jorge, I feel like this is good news for him as opposed to Usman, who's probably been preparing for Gilbert. Now Jorge gets to come in and just kind of spout off. I'm pumped for Yas Island. I'm pumped for UFC 251. And I'm putting all my money on the underdog, Jorge Masvidal, at this point.
Yeah, the UFC, big winner in this because me as a casual fan and a lot of other casual fans like me, I assume Masvidal moves the needle more. Like I was not interested really in the fight because
Gilbert Burns moves the needle.
But it being the first fight at Fight Island plus now Masvidal's in, that's a must watch now.
It was very interesting because whenever we talked to Chael or Ariel, one of them, they said that the Fight Island was being used for international fighters because it was going to be difficult to get American fighters there. So Jorge Masvidal's team, his agents, they were like, don't worry about it. We'll get a private plane. We'll be able to land you right in the ring if we want to. It's going to be pricey. You will have to pay us back if you win, but we'll get you a private plane over there, no problem. Good for Jorge Masvidal. Good for the UFC. Good for UFC 251.